The overarching theme of power and influence can be tied throughout the study of many ancient cultures, starting with Sumer and the Epic of Gilgamesh to Greece and their obsession with mathematical beauty. The Egyptians building massive monuments and living on in the afterlife. Power and influence can be even traced through the painters and artists of the modern eras of realism and impressionism. But in order to get a better idea of what motives of these cultures, we'll have to travel back to the times of Sumer and the Epic of Gilgamesh. The Epic of Gilgamesh was an epic written in the time of Sumer. It depicted the story of a king, Gilgamesh, and his power. He had a great physical power, kingly power, as well as influence over all his subjects. Yet, even then, he ruled them improperly. Enkidu was sent by the gods with power to take down Gilgamesh, but tied him in a fight and they became fast friends. Unfortunately, Enkidu would not survive the end of his journey. However, first, in order to show their power, they went to take down a horrible monster who ruled the forests and protected its cedars from mortals. Humbaba had ruled the forests, and they wanted to take the cedars as their own. Fortunately... Oh! Oh! Yeah! Yeah!
I'm bored. I'm bored too. Hey, Enkidu, how about we go take down that horrible forest guardian, Humbaba? He keeps all the cedar wood to himself. We can get fame, fortune, and all the wood we could ever want.
Now that we're really good friends, after beating each other to the palm in the wrestling match, I would love to you.
To the shopping carts!
Yeah!
3, 2, 1. We are the best friends! We are the best friends! We are the best friends!
We've been working here for a long while, Gilgamesh. Where is the horrible forest guardian?
Right here, you fools. Who encroaches upon my lair?
It is I, Gilgamesh, king of Sumer, and my trusted companion, Enkidu.
We've come to slay you and take this woods back for ourselves.
I have guarded these woods for centuries. I have never been once defeated.
I swear upon Shamash, we will defeat you today.
I would like to see you try.
Load your bow, Enkidu. Now, Enkidu, die humble!
Please spare me. Have all the wood you want.
You seem to be a pretty convincing forest guardian. This might work out. I'll let you live.
Are you kidding me, Gilgamesh? We came here on a long journey to kill the guardian for fame, fortune, and wood ever. Remember?
Yeah, forgot about that. Sorry, it's lights out for you. Oh, that's a lot of blood. Yeah!
Egypt, the time of pharaohs, a culture full of highly regarded power and influence. Pharaohs were given divine right to rule from the gods. In Egyptian culture, the body carries on in the afterlife, and the more you have and how much people remember you, the better off you are. The pharaohs had giant elaborate tombs for themselves to be remembered and go into the afterlife rich. The Great Pyramid of Giza, also known as the Pyramid of Khufu, is the oldest and largest of the 3 pyramids in the necropolis settlement. They built this pyramid for the 4th dynasty Egyptian pharaoh Khufu. This pyramid was the tallest man-made structure in the world for over 3,800 years. The way they made it was by casing stones that formed a smooth outer surface for 30 years. These pyramids were a reminder to everyone of the pharaoh's power and influence. The pharaohs made them bigger and bigger after one another to try and show up the previous one. Anyone who saw a pharaoh's pyramid
would be able to gauge his power and influence from doing so. I personally think they were compensating for something.
Work, slaves. I want my pyramid to be the greatest of all the pharaohs. I want to be remembered in the afterlife.
Well, Marty Pharaoh, we are weary and tired. We can't do this anymore.
What's that? I couldn't hear you over the sound of all that complaining.
Out of many cultures, Greece was one of the most intellectually stimulating societies. Many ideas about astronomy, theater, physics, athletics, math, and philosophy made Greece a high point of discovery, invention, and intellect. They put a lot of design work, mathematics, and talent into worshipping the gods and perfecting the human body. One of the most well-known pieces of art is that of the spear-bearer, Doryphoros. We couldn't find a full replica of the spear-bearer. We didn't have the funds, so our lovely assistant Shell will imitate the spear-bearer pose. The spear-bearer was a sculpture made for Doryphoros. The artist uses the chiastic balance on his left shoulder and made the proportions of the sculpture and mathematical structure perfect. The spear-bearer has a sense of Greek perfection and power. The mighty Colosseum, or the Flavian Amphitheater, was a structure of ancient Rome. It was built for Emperor Vespasian. The Colosseum was designed to accommodate 50,000 spectators. It also had many extra facilities and functions. For example, the Colosseum had a cover which would slide over the top in order to act as a roof should weather be an issue. Also, should the situation arise, the Colosseum could be flooded for Naumachia, a recreation of a giant sea battle, where thousands of men would die due to the lethality, as well as close proximity, of the rival ships. The main reason for all the deaths in these events was legendary Greek fire, which burned the ships and acted essentially as early napalm. However, the main function of the Colosseum was to host gladiator fights, where private individuals and groups would participate to declare their power and influence. There were two types of gladiators: true gladiators, which fought men, and venationes, who fought beasts. Often, gladiators fought for fame or influence, other times to display their power and prowess. But more often than not, competitors were prisoners, coerced into the pit through promises of freedom. There appears to be a fight happening right now. Sunday! Colosseum gladiator battle! Let's take a look, shall we?
We who are about to die salute you.
You shall fight. Release the lion!
Are you not entertained?
Die! Yes! That's 1,000 people!
I didn't see you there. I was just enjoying enjoying some Mozart, I do enjoy my Mozart. He was a typical musician of Baroque music, and the emotions used in his music are abundant and very powerful. When he first came to Vienna, he brought a different lifestyle there, and he got a lot of attention for it, for he was doing something new. And then soon he had established himself as one of the finest piano players in Vienna. He performed often as a pianist and also prospered as a composer. Die Entführung aus dem Serail was the first opera he wrote and performed in Vienna. He also encouraged Joseph II, the Holy Roman Emperor, to let him use German in the opera. This shows much of Mozart's music having a powerful influence over many people. His powerful music was even able to sway the emperor when he convinced him to change the language of an opera from Italian to German. In the Baroque period, you can tell that power has changed greatly since Roman times. It is shown more in an artistic manner instead of the intimidation and physical force they used previously in more barbaric cultures.
The famous painting of Jacques-Louis David of Napoleon crossing the Alps is a well-known example of realism in that it focuses more on describing what is happening as accurately as possible. Unlike the Impressionists, who sought to evoke certain emotions through color in the viewer, the realists let the story tell itself. Initially commissioned by the King of Spain, the composition shows a strongly idealized view of the real crossing that Napoleon and his army made across the Alps through the Great St. Bernard Pass in May of 1800. Napoleon himself was one of the most powerful and influential rulers of the French Revolution. The idealization of this brutal journey through the Alps is a classic example of the overarching theme of power and influence throughout the ancient and modern world.
Hello, I am Christopher Walken. I would like to let you know about Salvador Dali. He's one of the greatest post-impressionist artists to date. Additionally, he almost single-handedly influenced the creation of surrealism. Dali was an incredibly interesting artist, like me, who placed fame and recognition high on his priority list. Like me, one of the many things that makes Dali special is his powerful art techniques. He displays true power over his medium. He can flawlessly display perspective or depict an intricate background. Not only does he command the canvas in ways it was almost never meant to be used, but he possesses enough influence so that the artistic community can only stand and watch in awe as he makes them all look like fools. Really rustles up the jimmies. This is most present in his recreation of Michelangelo's painting of Adam and God in the Sistine Chapel. Dali flawlessly recreates Adam only to cover him in multicolored lines, showing his power to give, take away great art. This time, I'd like to call attention to a special treat for you this evening. We have consulted the dark powers that be. Dali will be joining us for an interview this morning. Hello, I'm Christopher Walken, joining you again with my correspondent, Salvador Dali, hanging out in the studio, gonna tell us all about his art.
I'm Dali!
Well, Mr. Dali, I think my first question has gotta be, how does it feel being Salvador Dali? Is it anything like being Christopher Walken?
Intelligence without ambition is same to birds without wings.
Well, that answered my question pretty much as well as any answer could, but now I gotta ask you, what's up with the mustache? As you know, I go without facial hair. You have magnanimous facial hair. Please explain.
It's more fantastico!
Well, it certainly looks fantastic, but now I gotta ask you something else. In a lot of your artwork, many critics have asked you if you do drugs. Now I want to ask you the same question, and if you do, where I can get what you're on.
I don't do drugs. I am drugs!
Well, personally, I prefer peyote, but maybe 20 years the kids will be doing some Dolly. But I gotta ask you my last question, and many people have called you and your artistic process that like a perfectionist.
how would you describe your own artistic process?
No fear to get perfection. You will never reach it.
Mr. Dolly, this has been a truly eye-opening experience for me, and hopefully many of our viewers. I have one last question for you, since we have run out of time, and that is, will you join me for some Southern-style fried chicken?
Fried chicken!
Hello, as you know by now, my name is Christopher Walken. I am the producer of this documentary you've all been enjoying. I would like to take this time to tell you you've been a wonderful audience, and I would like you to enjoy the bloopers that we didn't have time to put in the full production while I take a sponge bath with Burt Reynolds. Good night, everyone.
This is horrible. What? You just gotta get up on your knees. You gotta get up on your knees.
Chow, I will beat. Too far, Chow.
We've been working for a long while, Gilgamesh. Where's Harbor Forest Guardian?
All up.
Where's the script?
Go.
Give me that.
Now it's saying capture.
It is I, Gilgamesh, King of Sumer, and my trusty companion Enkidu.
You come here to slay you, Humala.
Aha, yes, we will slay you. God, Chow, come on. It goes to capture in the middle of a video?
Yeah, it can, but it got all the parts until you guys started failing.
Stop smoking marijuana!
No one knows what it's like to be a lion. Screw all of you. All right, let's get this.